Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome back into another episode of PTN Extra. As always, I'm Evan Gamecocks. That is Mike Irwin. Mike, we've got a stacked show today. We'll recap South Carolina. We'll talk a little bit about this recent betting scandal to hit college basketball. I know you're excited to talk about that. Arkansas softball ace Robyn Herron's going to join the show in just a little bit for a 10-minute sit-down you won't want to miss. Then we'll talk about Ryan Silverfield and where his portal class is, which has been falling. But let's start with basketball. Arkansas the other night taking care of business, 108-74 win against South Carolina, bouncing back from Auburn. What'd you think of the Hogs' performance last night? 6 guys in double-digit score.
Yeah, it was kind of a complete opposite. A lot of differences. 4 turnovers total in that game to 11 against Auburn. The bigs, Arkansas's 3 bigs scored 28 in the Auburn game. They scored 46. That's all 3 of them scored. That's what they can do when they're all actively involved. And really to see Pringle finally do something offensively, you know, that was good to see. You just got to keep it up. One of the biggest differences, and I talked about this about the Auburn game, was that Darius Acuff can't be perfect, and this was a game where he wasn't perfect. He scored 19 points, but that's about all he did. He wasn't really running the offense. He had 3 turnovers. He just didn't seem to handle the ball very much. It was almost like he didn't want it or something. I don't know. He's back in his groove. 1 less points, but he's 4 rebounds, 13 assists. That's the whole thing. That's running an offense when you're setting other people up. So those were some of the things that I saw. It was just a different effort. And then you see Cal, in spite of the fact that Acuff is playing much better, Cal's still on him and chewing up, and he's biting back at him. We saw that from the sidelines.
Yeah, it was an interesting interaction. I mean, Acuff, to your point, 0 turnovers. I think that was the biggest thing for me, is that he wasn't careless, and he usually isn't. But obviously last night, when you don't turn the ball over, you're not careless with the ball. Arkansas in general, like you've mentioned, did great on turnovers. But I kind of want to hit on it because we finally saw DJ Wagner break out a little bit, 12 points for him. And that's something good to see for this team. Felt like he got the offense going. And again, I mean, you can go up and down the list. We haven't even talked about the guy who probably caught everyone's eye, and that was Malik Thomas last night. 21 points, just a masterpiece from him.
Yeah, I mean, when you get that many guys involved, then you're going to be a problem for other teams if they can do that, if they can sustain that. Now, very quietly, Arkansas moves into a first-place tie. I think there's 5 teams tied for first. But Vanderbilt lost on the road, so now there's nobody undefeated in the SEC, and Arkansas is right there. But, hey, now you got to go to Georgia. And it's almost a similar situation to last week in that you're going to a place that just lost a game at home and didn't like the way they lost that game at home. So you're going to get their best effort. Maybe Arkansas learned something from that. I hope they did. That's a winnable game, but it's not going to be easy.
Yeah.
And they really need to win it because then they come back and play Vanderbilt on Tuesday.
It's a tough little stretch coming up. You wouldn't think traditionally with the teams that Arkansas has to face the next 2 games that it would be a tough stretch, right? You look at Georgia and Vanderbilt. Usually they're bottom feeders in the conference. This year, no more. Georgia will be in the top 25 when they play. Might slide out of it because of that loss to Ole Miss. And then Vanderbilt, like you've already mentioned, lost to Texas last night. Crazy night in SEC basketball. Kentucky also barely getting the win.
Well, I watched that game, almost the whole game, and LSU's got nobody to blame but themselves. They gave that game away. Totally stupid. You got a chance to put it. You're at the line with a 1-point lead, so you can put this thing away. And he misses both of them. And then they inbound the ball on the other end, and just it's almost a court-length pass. He's trying to he's trying to front the guy, and just barely goes over his hands, and then turns around and puts it in. And it was bad defense there, missing free throws. And they did that the whole night long. They just handed the ball to Kentucky. Yeah,
shades of that Christian Laettner shot way back in the day when Laettner won it for Duke. And we were sitting there watching the game down the street, and I was like, oh my God, they're going to do it. Mark Pope is safe for now. The noise kind of gets a little quiet. Yeah. Arkansas is going to see them later this month.
Yeah, I still think they've got problems. Again, if it would have been one thing if they'd have been impressive and won that game just because they were the better team. Kentucky won because, again, LSU just gave it away. If I'm an LSU fan, I'm really mad today.
Yeah, no one to blame but yourself. We'll look at Georgia really quickly. Like we said, it'll be a top 25 matchup. What does Arkansas have to do to get the win on Saturday?
Well, again, I think you need to have multiple scoring options. You don't turn the ball over. Your bigs have to get in there and all score and help each other. All the things that we've seen they do well when they win, and then the things they don't do well when they lose, they can't do those things.
Yeah.
The defense down low is still an issue sometimes. There was still dribble drive penetration too many times right up to the side of the basket, and then it's right in the – they just somehow – but there were several possessions where they stopped that. And so if I'm Cal, I'm showing video. See here? See what you did? Why don't you do that all the time? Why do you sometimes just let a guy go around somebody and he's all the way in there and nobody's helping out?
Yeah, he brought up after the game with Malik Ewing, sometimes he drops and opens his hip, and that kind of allows the guy to go right by him. But again, to your point, we saw this Arkansas team handle business against South Carolina, went on a 16-1 run at one point early in the second half to really put the game away. But let's talk something bigger that's going on in college basketball right now. This morning, Pete Thamel was on Pat McAfee's show, and he was talking about this new scandal that's about to hit about college basketball players and betting on games. What do you think of this? What's your take on this whole situation? I know you got numbers ready to go.
Well, it's scary. 39 players allegedly involved from 17 D1 teams. 29 games we're talking about got fixed. And these players were getting offered anywhere from $10,000 to $30,000. That's incredible. And I hate to say this, but I think college basketball deserves some of the blame because when they encourage fans to start betting at games, it just bleeds down. There was a time when the college sport itself, no matter what sport you're talking about, when college athletics, the idea was we're divorcing ourselves from betting. But betting has become such a big deal around the country, and they're wanting to get money from these casinos. So when you're in league with them, what do you think? Your players are going, well, the fans are up there doing it, and the team's involved, and the team makes money off it. Well, I'll just make money myself. It's very scary because what this does is it opens up the complaint that when a team loses a game, some player, if he doesn't play well, he must have bet on the other team. He must have been making money. And that's unfair if the guy didn't do it. But that's what's happening here. And we've had a small one earlier, but this is much bigger. And if it continues, they got to do something about this. I don't know what you do, but again, the scary part of it is you open every player up that doesn't have a good game to people get on the internet. He's throwing the game. I'm sure he got money. Let's go check his bank account. Stuff like that. I mean, it's terrible.
Yeah, it's scary for college athletics as a whole, and I think you've seen it a little bit in football, but not for a while. There really hasn't been anything like this in quite some time, and now this news breaks this morning, and it puts the game in jeopardy because, right, these are guys who now they can get paid, but they're using that money now to bet on themselves and bet on their opponents to be better than themselves. And you have this whole, we're no better when NIL got introduced than we were beforehand. And it's all the same. I mean, look, life has a funny way of working out and everything evens out at one point. And it feels like with everything that's happened before the NIL era, it's just happening again in the NIL era. But in the same way, just different kind of window dressing, if you will.
It seems like every time we turn around these days, there's a problem that you trace to money. You need more money. Got to have more money. And players come in and they transfer. And they make agreements and then they break agreements and then they transfer. And their fans are left holding the bag. What are you doing here? It's because we got to have more money. Got to have more money. You want more money. I want more money. The school wants more money. The football team needs more NIL money. We've got to meet our rev sharing cap. We got to do this. We got to do, and it just never stops.
As the saying goes, mo money, mo problems, right? Nothing ends out being just the way you want it. Mike, any other thoughts on college basketball and the state of where we're at before we go to a break? About 45 seconds left.
They got to solve this problem, and I don't know how you do it.
Only time will tell how they solve the problem. We'll continue to update you guys as that goes on. But that's going to do it for us right now. When we come back after the break, a really special guest, Robyn Herron. She joins the show on PTN Extra. It's a great interview. We were out in the cold yesterday braving it. You're not going to want to miss it. Mike Irwin and I will be back after that interview. We'll see you on PTN Extra on the other side of the break. Excited to be joined by one of the best pitchers in the country, a longtime Razorback. That's Robyn Herron. I'm Evan Kamiko. Robyn, thanks for taking some time. Glad we finally were able to make it this week.
Yes, thank you for coming back.
Of course, love to be here. Can't believe it's softball season already. Does it feel like the time's kind of flown since you were a freshman to now going into what could be one of your final years here?
Oh, absolutely, for sure. I swear, they say that, it goes by fast and you don't realize it, and now I'm the one saying that it goes by fast, but yeah, it's flown by.
How's that been of stepping up a little bit more this off season and getting into it? We'll get into all that in a second, but just the team's back. What's the energy like here at Bogle?
Oh, energy's high. We came out first day of January ready to go, and practices have been great. We're looking great. Vibes are high, so we're really excited.
Love that. All right, let's go back to last year. I know we don't like to talk about it. I know it's probably something that maybe you guys try to avoid, but we've got to talk about it. I've got a job to do. Fans don't want to hear. Let's talk about Super Regionals. Obviously, regionals go fantastic. Atmosphere was incredible. Then you and Peyton get sick. Walk us through to everyone at home who is still curious about what happened during regionals. Walk us through the details of how last season ended and just the disappointment, I think, out of everybody about the ending of last year.
Yeah, it was, looking back, I still think about it. It was crazy that, me and Peyton both woke up, middle of the night, sick, and the next day we both kind of crawled into the field, and, we tried our best, but, I started the game, I was like, I'm going to try my best to, clutch up for the team, but it was so hard, because, physically you're just not there, so, it was very heartbreaking, but we all, even after the first day, we had full confidence that we were going to come back and win both games. So, yeah, the health, things sucked, but, Peyton came out the next day after we got some treatments and stuff, and she pitched extraordinary. So, it was heartbreaking, and I think all of us felt the heartbreak for a few weeks. But now we've kind of just put it past us and we're ready to conquer this year.
What was that process like the next couple of weeks of trying to come together as, some faces leave and some faces are getting ready, like yourself, to come back for another run at, the College World Series? What was that kind of like over the summer?
Summer, it's nice to decompress after the season because it's such a high stress period. But, we were really excited because we only lost 2 people, so we didn't really lose like our class is going to be 9. So we kind of knew who was going to be coming back, and then we got some good additions. So the additions and the transfers and the new freshmen made us all really excited to come back and get to work.
What was the summer like for you? What was your practice regimen? How did you try to get better coming into 2026?
Yeah, after season I kept training because I got invited to the USA camp, so I did that at the end of June, and then after that I took probably a 4-week break just to kind of heal my arm and all those things, because a lot of fatigue happens during season, but then after my break we came back and just got right back into it.
What was the USA camp like?
It was great. It was awesome to be around people that I used to watch when I was a kid, and it was just, I took it all in. It was great.
What was the best? You talked about being able to be with people who you watched as a kid. Who were some of the best interactions that you had at the Team USA camp?
Yeah, I loved Amanda Lorenz. I talked to Tiara Jennings. She was great. I got to see Bree again, and that was great. So probably just the people that are on Team USA as well. And Lexi Kilfoyle is one of my good friends, so I got to see her. So that's just, seeing all those people is great.
What is it like, now watching Bree at the next level? I know she won't be here this year. Obviously, you guys all wish her very much well, I am sure. But what's it been like watching the summer that she was able to have going right from college to the pros?
It was great. She's a great person, and just seeing her be able to play at that next level and the joy that she had, it was really rewarding for all of us to just be a part of her journey.
Let's talk about this year. 2026 is coming up. Can't believe it already. What excites you about the team this year?
We're a very connected team. We have a lot of fun. We like to keep it light, but it doesn't mean we don't go to work. So we have a great balance of all the laughs, all the seriousness, just coming together during drills. I think we all are a very cohesive unit.
I love that, and I think that's something that keeps getting echoed. We've talked to Ella McDowell, Atalia Rio, Courtney Deifel the other day as well, and they're all really excited for this year. What about the new faces? Who should fans at home be excited to watch out here at Bogle?
Well, we have 2 freshman pitchers, Sailor Timmerman and Lily Faye McWhorter. They're great arms. They've grown so much throughout the fall. The transfers, Tiana and Dakota, they're great. Tiana swings the bat like a grown woman. She's a crazy batter. So those are just a few. All of them are exciting to watch. So.
And I know it's rare to get the whole staff back from a year to a year later with the transfer portal and the era that we're in right now with college athletics. But what is it like to come back and have that entire staff from last year here, seeing, you know, yourself make another jump? You got Lexi King, Peyton Burnham, Cam Harrison, all these faces that are going to return for your pitching staff. Oh,
it's great. I mean, it feels like you have to do a lot less of like rebuilding and just enhancing what you already had. So like Cam, Lexi, Peyton, we've all grown so much, and then we're also adding 2 great young arms. So I think we're going to be a pretty good staff this year.
And the depth, you can obviously tell with the pitching staff, is there. How have some of the new faces leaned on you, and what is some of the things that you've been telling, you know, those new guys who are coming in for this staff to kind of get them ready for college ball?
Yeah, I think for the freshman faces, you don't know what you're getting yourself into until you're like in it and you're in a loud stadium and you're not at home and everyone's booing you, whatever all the fans are doing. So I've just kind of given them like I guess I've offered my help, or like if they're ever stressed about something, I just emphasize to them that like you don't have to be stressed or nervous or scared alone, and that, you know, me, Reese, all the people that have been here are just like excited to help them.
For you, how is Robyn Herren different in 2026 than she was in the past?
I mean, I think I'm a lot stronger physically, I'm a lot stronger mentally. But the 2 parts of my game that I've always needed to enhance, and I've really done that this past fall.
That's awesome. A couple more and then we'll let you go. Have you looked at the schedule? I know this year you include trips to Texas and to Oklahoma. What are you most looking forward to about the schedule in 26?
Oh gosh, I mean, all of it. I think it's a different format because we're at home for maybe 2 series in a row and then away for 2 series in a row. So it's going to be fun to just like have back-to-back weekends with our fans. I'm excited for all of it. I'm excited to go to Texas, excited to go to Oklahoma. Those are big schools. I'm excited for our preseason. There's just really, I can't even name anything like too specific.
Is it crazy that the season's right around the corner?
Yeah, it is. It is. And even like the training is going by really fast for this January.
Again, we've talked about the pitching staff. Let's talk about some of the hitters, the people that fans knew from last year who are going to be coming back. Who do you expect to take a big step forward this year?
I think Atalia Rijo's going to take a big step. I honestly, it's like Reagan Johnson. She's probably the most underrated slapper in the world. But I think all of them, like 1 through 9, we don't have any gaps or anyone you shouldn't worry about.
You had 3 players who were on, I believe, D1 softballs, you know, preseason All-Americans, 5 that were on the list. There's a lot of really strong talent here at the University of Arkansas. What does it mean to you to get the preseason recognition? It feels like that you've been getting every year, getting it yet another year, and seeing some of your teammates get it as well.
It feels nice. It's great. I mean, it doesn't hold that much weight because it's just preseason, but it's still great to be recognized. And you know, I think everyone on our team should be recognized somehow. So it's nice.
It's always nice to get preseason. 2 more, and then we'll let you get out of here. You know, Coach Steifel entering another year. She's been here for, it feels like, over a decade. Finally trying to get over that hump and get to Oklahoma City. For you, where have you seen Coach Steifel grow with you the most when it comes to your first year here to now?
I think she is a lot more, I guess, connected with us. Like she gives way more of herself to us in the past few years than I think she did maybe when I was a freshman. We always laugh. Like, you know, me and her personally have grown in our relationship that like we know when the time to be serious is and when we can joke, or like, you know, it's just, when you spend so much time together, it's just easier to connect.
Relationships are always special, and I think that's one of the ones that the pitchers, and especially because she's so close to you guys as a pitching coach formerly and now the head coach, obviously that makes a big difference. Last one, then we'll let you get out of here. It's my favorite one. I've asked you this last year. We're going to do it again this year. What's one word to describe the 26 team and why?
I would say resilient, because nothing can completely break us. Like we may bend a little bit, we might have some down moments, but we're always going to come back stronger.
I think that's a very fair statement to make. Robyn, thank you so much. That's going to do it for us out here. We'll be right back after the break. Back here on PTN Extra, Mike Irwin, Evan Camico, wrapping up shop. Hope you guys enjoyed that interview with Robyn. It was a lot of fun to get to talk to her for another year before their awesome season. Let's talk football. We'll go to the gridiron really quickly. Ryan Silverfield, there was a lot of talk early this week and last week about how good his class looked, and now as you have the Alabamas and Georgias and Tennessees rounding out their transfer portal class, Arkansas's class keeps taking a hit. What do you see of it? What do you think of his new moves this week?
Well, we're 2 days left or whatever, and it looks like Arkansas's today, which is Thursday. I mean, we usually do this on Wednesday. It looks like they're bringing in at least 2, an offensive lineman who's impressive out of Maryland, but then a defensive tackle out of Oregon that hasn't played much. The overall class in the last rankings I saw was down to 24th, 12th in the SEC. At one time it was on 3 had them in the top 10. Mm-hmm. So what's happening here? When you go and you examine this, you do see some guys definitely that you can count on. A couple of offensive tackles that look like they can come in and really rescue this, because if you didn't have them, you'd have some problems next year. Quarterback situation, I think, looks okay. It's not great, but you've got a guy that you can count on, I think, as a starter, but he didn't start last year. Mm-hmm. But you got a backup that's a true freshman, and then you got a Division II guy that came in that has played a lot, has some pretty decent run pass numbers. And then you got this freshman, junior in high school that's 16, 17 years old, whatever. And he's a project. He's going to be there 2 years before he probably does anything, so I don't think he's a factor. But the quarterback situation is not bad. But I think what you've got, the reason this class is dropping, is because when you go through it position by position, you see way too many guys that may have been a 4-star in high school, but wherever they were, they didn't play hardly at all. So they didn't develop somewhere else. And it's obvious to me that what Silverfield and his staff are planning to do is they think they can coach these guys up. Whatever problem you had where you were, we're going to come in here and we're going to work with you and we're going to make you better. So we're going to, now that this thing is almost over, we're back to the final phase that I talked about before it ever started, which is when it's all said and done, it still comes down to coaching. Mm-hmm. And the good news is all you got to do is look at the national championship game coming up. That's 2 things. It's a mature, older team, but it's also coaching. Yeah. And I think coaching still matters. I think raw 3-star, 4-star, 5-star numbers don't always make the difference. So, it's going to be a while. And the first thing we need, and I don't know if we're going to get it, but I don't know how you feel about this. I want to see a press conference. Yeah. I want Silverfield to explain why he brought certain players in. Explain the whole situation with the Fayetteville High Junior. What'd you do there? Why did you get into this thing with Casey Dick as head coach? Whose fault is that? He needs to talk about that. But he needs to talk about things beyond that, What's the situation with these 2 offensive tackles? Are they how convinced are you that they're going to make a difference? The defense, you made it over. It's largely a new defense. Is this the answer? What problems did you see? What do you think what have you corrected? And then we have to see this stuff happening. Well, are we going to? Because we don't know. None of this has been addressed. We know what generally was happening with other coaches here. Some of them were more open than others. Honestly, Pittman, by the time his last year rolled around, he had become more and more closed. Yeah. And kind of closing things off, because it's always up to them. It's their option. But I would think, this is just me talking, mm-hmm. If I'm Robyn Silverfield, I've got to sell the fans on what we're doing. And we've got to sell tickets. You got to have money. And money largely comes from 2 sources, TV revenue and ticket sales. If you want those ticket sales, you better do some things in the spring. I would start even in the off-season program. I would invite media over to watch what we do in the off-season winter program and interview some players, some guys that were here last year, and talk about are there differences. And then show the spring. I don't know what they can do in the summer. I don't know if there are rules on that or not. I haven't looked into that. But certainly fall camp. Yeah. So I'd be as transparent as possible. Once the season starts, fine. You don't probably have guys into your practices. But before that, you got to show this team off, show this coaching staff off, and try to make a contrast between what was and what is now.
Promise over production. It feels like that's kind of where Silverfield is going, of these raw star guys that don't have the production versus the 2 teams in the national championship who, some of it's homegrown, but a lot of it is production at lower levels. So interesting to see what's going to happen. Mike, really quickly before we go, a prediction, college football national championship, Miami, Indiana. Who you got?
I mean, I've said Indiana all along. There's nothing that's happened to convince me to change that. I like the coaching staff. I like the head coach. I like the players involved. I like the defense. I like the offense. They've just been the most complete team all along. I am impressed, however, that a team that was the last in is now there in the national championship game, because I cannot stand this idea, and I see it all the time. Fans popping off on the internet and saying you don't really need more than 4 teams in a playoff, because beyond 3 or 4 teams, nobody out there has a chance. Baloney. The last team in, the 12th team. And yeah, they were better than the 2, group of 5s that got in there automatically, but still, if you take that out of consideration, it's still the 10th team in. Yeah. The 10th team, the last of the Power 4 teams to get in, is now in the championship game, and you're saying, nah, it doesn't matter. Those teams are not a factor. The NCAA basketball tournament proves every year that you're overlooking certain teams that get hot at the end of the year, and it makes it fun for me, because I like to see upsets.
Absolutely. Expansion, another topic we'll hit on another time on PTN Extra. That's Mike Irwin. I'm Evan Kamico. Thanks for tuning in each and every week. We'll see you back here next week on PTN Extra.